You see so many people online just dissing others, saying, oh, what you're doing is stupid and it doesn't work. And I did it this way. So you should do it my way because my way is right and your way is wrong. I love the fitness community, but holy cow, like a lot of people are just so close-minded and stubborn. And it's just really sad to see. Hey guys, welcome back to Cardio Chats. Today I kind of want to touch on like the science-based lifting community and all the craze behind lengthened partials and stuff of that sort. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically that once a muscle is lengthened or pulled apart so the origin and insertion actually increase in how far they are apart, it's stretching the muscle that is being used. So for example, I just hit chest and I'm doing my cardio after. And whenever you're doing a bench press or a fly, since you're retracting your shoulder blades, you are, and then you bring down the bar and you're bringing your elbow joint behind your body. That's actually going to be lengthening your chest because it's being spread apart. It's like an open rib cage. And when you have an immense amount of tension behind or supporting that lengthened position, it's been seen in the data in the literature to actually elicit more growth. And we've never really seen something like this because in the shortened position, which is just the opposite of the lengthened position, the lengthened is stretched apart and the shortened is contracted. So a contracted portion of a bench press lift would be all the way at the top when your arms are fully adducted, so like this. And you can feel it just by moving your humerus across your body. So that would be shortening the lift, and that doesn't seem to produce more growth. But the studies are showing that the lengthened bit, that's when tension is applied, it's actually producing more growth, which is such a fascinating thing. I'm not sure what the underlying mechanics of that are, but it's very fascinating to me because it's been proven true in the data with every single muscle group that they have tested it on. So it's worked on the chest, it's worked on the quads, the glutes, et cetera, et cetera. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen a muscle group which hasn't actually improved in how much hypertrophy it increases by, how much the muscles are actually growing in size from using this. So, the jury is still out though, because the thing with science and data is that, sometimes things are proven one way and then, 9 months later, there's another article that comes out which disproves it. And in fact, there's been so many times in history where these studies are just totally fibbed, or they're using like false data or like, whatever. And it turns out that it was just like some company funding the research because they wanted a certain outcome and they wanted to trick the people. That's happened way too many times to count. And it's always such a major scam, and it really like removes your faith in humanity. So I'm hoping that this isn't one of those fibs. I don't think it is whatsoever. I do, in fact, believe in it. But what I'm trying to get at is that we need to be cautious before we jump the gun on things. And, I've totally incorporated this into my own training. But if one day it's proven that, we didn't really see the whole scope of the picture, if one day it shows that like, oh, you need like to have like a certain angle or something, or, whatever it may be, then I'm definitely going to backtrack. I'm going to be like, hey guys, I'm sorry. I had the information wrong. Shout out the videos that I talked about it, and I'll, delete them or I'll remake them in order to provide some updated content that is not actually basically a lie, Well, I guess it wouldn't be a lie because I had the right intentions in mind, but, who's to say? We'll figure it out. But that's one of the science-based crazes that's going on. And not too long ago, there was like the Mike Mentzer training craze where everyone's like, oh, you should only do like 2 sets per body part, and then just with maximum intensity. And since you have the intensity, you're going to blow up. And since you have so much rest time, you're going to blow up. That's one which I do not subscribe to at all. I think, yeah, you want intensity, but 2 sets a week per body part. It was something like that. It was like 2 to 5 sets or something. Way too low volume. You guys, you got to be giving your body a reason to change. If you're not giving your body like a solid reason that's frequent, you really need to signal to your body frequently enough that you need it to change, or else it's not going to, because your body doesn't want to change. Your body doesn't care about changing. It just wants you to survive and reproduce. That's all the biology really cares about. So, adding muscle tissue, reducing fat. These are processes which take time, they take consistency, and they take effort. And if you're not putting in that effort plus that frequency and pretty much just volume, continuing to stimulate the musculature, then you're not going to get very far at all. You're just not, unfortunately. So I think that Mike Mentzer was probably a genetic freak, where he probably had a bunch of type 2 muscle fibers that just responded very well to training. And I have a hunch, and that is that if he continued that intensity but trained more often, then he'd be even larger and more freakish than he already was. But don't just take this one opinion as fact just because it worked for him. You guys got to figure out what works for you. What works for you is not what's going to work for the next guy. Everybody's different. Everybody's a special snowflake. Everybody has these crazy genetics. I mean, I was listening to a podcast of Robert Greene. If you guys don't know him, 48 Laws of Power author. He's written a ton of other stuff. Brilliant author, brilliant man. And he was saying how in his new book, he's going to be talking about how your genetics, every single person's genetics are so unique. Like the odds of us being born and being the way we are is so quintessentially small that you should be thanking your lucky stars day in, day out, every single day that you are even on this planet and you are who you are. Because if you think about it, the fact that your bloodline even survived this long is a miracle. But the fact that it's just so happened that your parents met each other, and then their parents met each other, this whole like freaking family tree, which is almost infinitely large, how it just happened in this specific way to make you is crazy. And therefore, why would you think that your genetics are going to be the same as everybody else's? Your genetics are completely unique to you, just like your personality is unique to you. You know what I mean? So thinking that you're just going to be able to respond to training, it's the same way, as the next guy is just kind of I don't think immature is the right word. That's not the right word. It's just childish. Not childish. It's just it's short-sighted, It's a short-sighted belief. So I really encourage people to try a little bit of everything. I've done about everything under the sun, I'd say. I've done high rep training. I've done like 1 rep max training. I've done all these different splits. I've tried so many different things, and most of them just didn't work. Because that was a lot of this was before I was educated, and I just didn't really know what to believe. But through that trial and error, and I'm not saying that you have to mess up as many times as I have, but through that trial and error, I have developed I kind of know what works for me, Like I know how to position myself on the dip, on the, you don't have to do dips on a machine, but like dips wherever in order to really use my anatomy, use my biomechanics. So anyway, you could try the Mike Mentzer training and see how it does for you. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But yeah, I just think that you see so many people online just dissing others, saying, oh, what you're doing is stupid and it doesn't work. And I did it this way, so you should do it my way because my way is right and your way is wrong. I see that all the time. It's in almost every single comment section on social media regarding fitness. I love the fitness community, but holy cow, like a lot of people are just so close-minded and stubborn, and it's just really sad to see. I think that people need to start lightening up a little bit. This isn't meant to be. None of this is meant to be taken that seriously. Like, I'll receive rude comments, like everybody that's online receives rude comments here and there. But just a lot of them are just such like a short-sighted, like just like not very well thought out remarks where it's just most of the time I'll just ask them why. Why do you feel this way? Because a lot of the times they don't even have an answer. Because they're just repeating something that somebody told them, but they don't actually know the truth behind it. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Anyway, guys, I'm having a steak dinner tonight. Pretty excited about that. I think that animal meats, I want to piss off a bunch of the vegetarians and vegans out there. Animal meats are the way to go if you're trying to build muscle. Animal meats, whey protein, milk protein, cheese, animal products. I'm just rephrasing, animal products is the way to go. The reason why I say that is because it's a complete protein profile. It is all the essential amino acids, and most of like the vegan proteins do not. They're not a complete amino acid. I can't give you any examples off the top of my head, but most of them are not. So they're lacking like one or two essential amino acids, which you would think like, oh, only one or two, it's not a big deal. It is to your body though. Your body won't use it the same way. It may not be used for protein synthesis for your muscular system. So I think that you should take that into account if you're vegan or vegetarian. You may want to intake even more protein than 1 gram per pound if you're trying to gain muscle, if you're eating proteins like that. But personally, I'm an omnivore. I'll eat meats. I'll eat greens. I'll eat everything. I love food. So that's what I'm having for dinner. But anyways, guys, I think that that's going to do it for today's little chat. I only really wanted to touch on the science-based community and how I feel about, people's dogmaticism and stubbornness, but let me just like break it down for you. At the end of the day, we're all human and everybody's different. And even though I may say, I don't like this person's behavior, or I think that they're like being closed-minded, I need to set the foundation of my thinking as I don't know what's going on in their life. It's like if you have a kid acting out, pretend like you're a teacher or something, and you have one of your kids is acting out in your classroom. You're not going to you never instantly assume that this is just a bad kid, like it's just a bad person and that they're doomed. No, you start looking at the outside factors. So like, oh, he or she has like a rocky family, like at home family dynamic, which is causing them to act out in this way because they don't know how to handle all the stress in their life. Well, the same thing with kids can be the same with adults. So with a lot of these people who are like thinking a certain way or saying certain things, a lot of them just don't know how to handle their emotions. They just don't know how to funnel them and be responsible. And sometimes that's user error, but I think a lot of the times, you can't really predict what's going to happen in your life. And therefore, I don't know. I just wish them the best. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Bye.